What would you say motivates you in this now and in the years leading up to now? The love of winning or the fear of losing?
So for the World Championship, it's been fear of losing for sure. Other tournaments, love of winning is a great factor. And that's why I also get more joy from winning most tournaments than I do for winning the World Championship, because then it's mostly been a relief. I also think I enjoy winning more now than I did before, because I feel like I'm a little bit more relaxed now.
Mhm.
And I also know that it's not gonna last forever. So every little win I appreciate a lot more now. And yeah, in terms of fear of losing, like that's a huge reason why I'm not gonna play the World Championship, because it really didn't give me a lot of joy. It really was all about avoiding losing.
Why is it that the World Championship really makes you feel this way? The anxiety. So, and when you say losing, do you mean not just a match, but like every single position, like
No, it's just
the fear of a blunder?
no. I mean, the blunder is okay. Like when I sit down at the board, then it's mostly been fine, because then I'm focused on
Got it.
the game, and I know that I can play the game. It's a time like in between, like knowing that you know I feel like losing is not an option, because it's the World Championship, and because in a World Championship there are two players. There's a winner and a loser. If I don't win a random tournament that I play, then I'm usually, it depends on the tournament. I might be disappointed for sure, might even be pretty pissed, but ultimately, you go on to the next one. With the World Championship, you don't go on to the next one. It's like it's years.
Yeah.
And it also has been like it's been a core part of my identity for a while now that I am world champion. And so there's not an option of losing that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's you're gonna have to, at least for a couple of years, carry the weight of having lost. You're the former world champion now if you lose versus the current world champion. There are certain sports that create that anxiety and others that don't. For example, I think UFC, like mixed martial arts, are a little better with losing. It's understood, like everybody loses. But
Not
there's
everybody though.
not everybody, not everybody, not everybody. Yes. Khabib entered the chat. Uh, but in boxing, there is like that extra pressure of like maintaining the championship. I mean, maybe you could say the same thing about the UFC as well. So for you personally, for a person who loves chess, the first time you won the world championship, that was the big, that was the thing that was fun.
Yeah.
And then
Um
everything after is like stressful.
yeah. Essentially. There was certainly stress involved the first time as well. But it was nothing compared to the others. So the only world championship after that I really enjoyed was the one in 2018 against the American Fabiano Caruana.
Mhm.
And what that made that different is that I'd been kind of slumping for a bit and he'd been on the rise. So our ratings were very similar. They were so close that if at any point during the match I'd lost the game, um he would have been ranked as number one in the world. Like our ratings were so close that for each draw they didn't move.
Mhm.
And
And the game itself was close.
yeah,
Like
the
the
games
play.
themselves were very close. I had a winning position in the first game. Then I couldn't really get anywhere for a lot of games. Then he had a couple of games where he could potentially have won. Then in the last game I was a little bit better, and eventually they were all drawn. But I felt like all the way that this is an interesting match against an opponent who is at this position, at this point, equal to me. And so losing that would not have been this disaster, because in all the other matches I would know that I would have lost against somebody who I know I'm much better than, and that would be a lot harder for me to take.
Well, that's fascinating and beautiful that the stress isn't from losing. This because you have fun. You enjoy playing against somebody who's as good as you, maybe better than you. That's exciting to you.
Yeah.
It's losing at this high stakes thing that only happens rarely to a person who's not as good as you.
Yeah, and that's why it's also been incredibly frustrating in other matches, like when we play draw after draw, and I know that I'm better. I can sense during the game that I understand it better than them, but I cannot get over the hump.